Welcome, legends. Today's message might shift something deep inside you. If you've ever felt broken or held back, this is the one video you must watch. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear can turn your pain into power. And if you want more life-changing stories like this, hit subscribe and join the journey. Every journey towards strength begins with a moment that tries to shatter you. Bruce Lee understood this better than anyone. He believed that pain isn't just something you survive. It's something that shapes you, trains you, and if you allow it, transforms you. The truth is, everyone carries a wound. For some, it's a failure they can't forget. For others, it's a mistake that echoes in the back of their mind. And for many, it's that one moment where life felt unfair, heavy, or impossible to handle. But Bruce's philosophy flips the way we usually see struggle. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" he asked, "What is this moment trying to teach me?" He didn't see the wound as a weakness. He saw it as a message, a teacher sent by life itself, a sign that growth was not only possible, but necessary. Imagine for a moment that the pain you experienced wasn't meant to stop you, but to sharpen you. Think about how every difficult chapter you faced pushed you somewhere new. Maybe it made you braver. Maybe it made you more disciplined. Maybe it made you open your eyes to something you were ignoring. Sometimes the wound forces you to change direction long before you realize you needed to. Bruce Lee once said that life itself is a teacher, and you are always in a state of learning. That includes your victories, but it especially includes your wounds. Because nothing teaches you more than the moments that test you. Strength without struggle is impossible. Wisdom without mistakes is incomplete. Growth without difficulty doesn't exist. And that is where real transformation begins. Not in the moments when everything is perfect, but in the moments when everything feels like it's falling apart. When you stop fighting the pain and start understanding it, something inside you shifts. You begin to see patterns you couldn't see before. You begin to understand yourself in ways you never have. You begin to rise, not because life got easier, but because you got wiser. Your wound is not your enemy. It's the doorway to the strongest version of you. And once you accept that, the healing turns into power. When Bruce Lee looked at struggle, he didn't see a setback. He saw information. He saw feedback from life, pointing towards something that needed attention, improvement, or transformation. And this mindset changes everything. Because once you begin to view your challenges as signals instead of punishments, you gain control over your story instead of feeling swallowed by it. Think about the last time something didn't go your way. Maybe someone doubted you. Maybe you failed at something you believed you were ready for. Maybe you felt unprepared, overwhelmed, or emotionally drained. Most people take these moments personally. They think it means they're not good enough, not strong enough, or not meant to succeed. But Bruce believed the opposite. He taught that every tough moment carries a lesson hidden inside it, a lesson about your habits, your focus, your discipline, your reactions, and your inner strength. This is where growth truly begins, when you allow yourself to observe your pain instead of running from it. Ask yourself, what is this moment trying to teach me about myself? Maybe it's teaching patience. Maybe it's teaching resilience. Maybe it's teaching you to adjust your approach, refine your mindset, or strengthen your character. Pain doesn't appear randomly. It often arrives exactly when you're about to level up. Bruce Lee trained his mind the same way he trained his body, with intention. He understood that the mind, once stretched by challenge, never returns to its old shape. The moment you learn from your struggle, you rise above it. You gain clarity, direction, and purpose. You begin to react differently. You begin to move with more focus. You begin to understand what truly matters. Your wound becomes a mentor, guiding you toward the version of yourself you were always meant to become. Not a version shaped by fear or hesitation, but one shaped by awareness and understanding. And that is where true mastery begins. When you turn your emotional pain into mental strength, and your mental strength into daily action. Because life isn't testing you to break you. Life is testing you to reveal you. Every person faces two battles in life, the one happening around them and the one happening inside them. Bruce Lee understood that the inner battle is always the most important. Because the world can challenge you, but only your own thoughts can decide whether you rise or fall. And this is where the wound becomes more than just a painful memory. It becomes the key to self-mastery. Most people focus on the surface of their struggles. They look at who hurt them, what went wrong, or which moment shifted their path. But Bruce believed the real conflict isn't between you and the world. It's between who you are right now and who you know you can become. The wound simply reveals that gap. It shows you the places inside yourself that still need clarity, strength, discipline, or healing. The moment you realize this, everything changes. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "How can this make me wiser?" Instead of thinking, "I'm not enough," you begin thinking, "This is showing me what I must develop." Instead of feeling stuck, you begin feeling guided. This shift is the beginning of inner transformation. Bruce Lee once said that the biggest mistake people make is thinking the goal is perfection. It isn't. The real goal is progress. And progress only appears when life gives you something uncomfortable to grow through. That's why the wound is so important. It interrupts you. It stops your old patterns. It forces you to pause, reflect, and move differently. But here's the truth most people never hear. It's not the pain that changes you. It's the meaning you give to that pain. Two people can experience the exact same challenge. One will break down, believing the moment defines them. The other will rise, believing the moment refines them. The difference isn't in the wound. It's in the interpretation. Bruce mastered this mindset early. When life pushed him, he didn't collapse. He adjusted. He learned. He became quieter inside, clearer in focus, and stronger in discipline. He didn't see challenges as enemies. He saw them as invitations. Invitations to level up mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Every wound brings a lesson. Every lesson brings awareness. And awareness brings power. This is why your inner battle matters so much. When you take control of your thoughts, your emotions, and the story you tell yourself, the world outside becomes easier to face. But if you lose the battle inside, every external challenge feels heavier than it actually is. Think about your own life. How many times did you doubt yourself more than the situation truly required? How many times did fear make something feel impossible even though you were capable? How many times did your mind create limits that didn't actually exist? Your wound isn't telling you stop. It's telling you pay attention. It's asking you to become aware of the beliefs, habits, and thoughts that are holding you back. It's guiding you to rewrite your inner script. And once you do that, your outer world begins to shift naturally. Bruce taught that the greatest weapon you have is not your body, your skills, or your resources. It's your mindset. A wounded mindset becomes fearful, but a trained mindset becomes unstoppable. The wound reminds you of the work you still need to do. The lesson teaches you how to do it, and your growth becomes the proof that nothing in your life happened without purpose. This is how the inner battle is won, not by avoiding your wounds, but by understanding them. There comes a moment in every journey when life gives you a choice: stay wounded or rise wiser. Bruce Lee believed that this moment is the true turning point of a person's life. Not the moment they succeed, not the moment they win, but the moment they decide to stop letting the wound control their story. Because pain can do two things. It can hold you in place, or it can push you forward. Most people don't realize how powerful this choice truly is. They think change happens when the world becomes easier, when circumstances improve, or when luck finally arrives. But Bruce taught something different. He believed transformation begins when you decide that the meaning of your pain no longer belongs to the past. It belongs to your future. The wound is not just a memory. It is a crossroads. One path leads to repeating the same patterns, the same doubts, the same fears. The other path leads to clarity, direction, and self-mastery. And the moment you choose to learn from your pain, you step onto the second path. What does that choice look like? It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. It's personal. It's a promise you make to yourself. I will no longer run from this. I will understand it. Bruce Lee understood that real strength comes from awareness, not avoidance. When you face your wound with honesty instead of fear, you gain a kind of inner vision. You begin to see yourself without distortion. You start recognizing what needs to be healed, what needs to be improved, and what needs to be released. You stop blaming your past and start shaping your future. And here is the most empowering part. Awareness gives you options. Options give you direction. Direction gives you power. For the first time, you realize that you're not stuck. You can change how you think. You can change how you react. You can change how you move forward. The wound becomes a mirror that shows you your deepest patterns, the ones that have shaped your choices, your relationships, your mindset, and your identity. Bruce believed that when you understand yourself, you understand life. Because your inner world creates your outer world. If your thoughts are clouded, your path will be unclear. If your emotions are trapped, your actions will be limited. But the moment you learn from your wound, the clouds begin to part. You start seeing possibilities that were always there, but hidden by fear or doubt. This is the moment transformation truly begins, when you no longer see the wound as something that happened to you, but something happening for you. Something that arrived not to stop your journey, but to guide it. Every great story has a turning point. Every hero faces a moment of decision. And every person, including you, must choose whether their pain becomes a prison or a teacher. Bruce Lee chose to learn. He chose awareness. He chose growth. And that choice shaped his entire existence. Your story will be shaped by the same choice. Because the wound may be part of your past, but the lesson you take from it will define your future. When you finally choose to learn from your wound, something remarkable begins to happen. The moment you shift from resisting your pain to understanding it, you unlock a level of awareness that changes the way you move through life. This is where Bruce Lee's philosophy becomes more than an idea. It becomes a way of living. Because once the wound becomes your teacher, it also becomes your strength. Think about it. Every time life challenged you, it didn't leave you empty. It left you with knowledge. It left you with experience. It left you with insight that someone who has never struggled will never understand. This is the hidden gift of pain. It gives you a depth of wisdom that comfort can never provide. Bruce understood this deeply. He knew that strength doesn't come from avoiding difficulty, but from rising through it. Every lesson life gives you becomes a tool, and the lessons learned through struggle become the strongest tools of all. Once you recognize the lesson inside your wound, you begin seeing yourself differently. You start noticing how much you've survived, how much you've overcome, and how much you've grown. Challenges that once felt overwhelming start looking smaller. Doubts that once felt heavy start losing their power. And situations that once left you confused begin making sense. This clarity is not random. It's earned. It's the result of facing your inner world with courage and honesty. Bruce Lee often said that understanding yourself is the key to mastering life. When you look at your wound without fear, you learn what drives you, what limits you, what inspires you, and what holds you back. You discover the patterns that shaped your decisions and the beliefs that shaped your identity. And once you see these things clearly, you are no longer controlled by them. Your wound stops being a source of weakness. It becomes a source of awareness. Awareness then becomes strength. Strength becomes confidence. And confidence becomes freedom. One of the most powerful transformations that happens when you learn from your wound is the shift in how you respond to future challenges. Instead of reacting with fear or frustration, you respond with understanding. Instead of breaking down, you adapt. Instead of being overwhelmed, you become intentional. You no longer see challenges as threats. You see them as guidance. This is what separates those who stay stuck from those who grow. It's not about who experiences less pain. It's about who learns more from it. Bruce Lee believed that life constantly teaches those who are willing to listen. The wound is simply one of the ways life communicates. It shows you what needs healing, what needs strengthening, and what needs changing. It shows you where your potential is waiting to be developed. And once you truly understand the lesson, your entire perspective shifts. The moments that once felt heavy now feel meaningful. The situations that once confused you now feel purposeful. The experiences that once hurt you now feel like they taught you something important. You begin to move differently, with more clarity, more intention, and more inner power. You walk into the world not as someone defined by their wounds, but as someone refined by them. This is the essence of Bruce Lee's message. The wound is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your evolution. The moment the lesson becomes your strength, something even greater begins to unfold. You start rising beyond the older version of yourself. This is the stage Bruce Lee believes separates ordinary growth from true transformation. Because learning from your wound is powerful, but becoming someone new because of it is life-changing. Most people carry their past like a shadow. They replay old moments, old mistakes, old disappointments. They let those memories define their confidence, their goals, and even their identity. But Bruce understood something essential. You cannot step into your future while holding on to the version of yourself that was shaped by pain. Growth requires release. Strength requires renewal. Transformation requires courage. And once the wound teaches you, it also invites you to let go, to rise beyond the limits your past placed on you. This is not about forgetting your experiences. It's about no longer being controlled by them. When you learn from your wound, you begin to see that the old version of you is doing the best they could with the tools they had. But now, with deeper understanding and new awareness, you have different tools, sharper ones, wiser ones, stronger ones. This is the moment where self-growth becomes visible. You start recognizing how far you've come, how much you've learned, and how capable you truly are. Bruce Lee often spoke about flowing with life, adapting, evolving, and never staying stuck in one form. He believed a person becomes unstoppable when they stop clinging to who they used to be. Because the version of you shaped by fear cannot lead you into a future shaped by purpose. The version shaped by doubt cannot carry you into success. And the version shaped by pain cannot guide you into peace. To rise beyond your old self means accepting a truth many avoid. You have changed. You are changing. You're meant to change. Your wound didn't appear to weaken you. It appeared to awaken you. Awakening is a slow, internal shift. One day you react differently. Another day you think more clearly. Then you notice you're not affected by things that once overwhelmed you. This is not accidental. This is growth becoming visible in your daily life. Your mindset becomes more stable. Your emotions become more balanced. Your decisions become more intentional. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to understand your patterns. You begin to recognize your value. This is the quiet beginning of a new version of you. A version shaped by awareness instead of fear. A version shaped by wisdom instead of reaction. A version shaped by purpose instead of pain. Bruce's philosophy teaches that once you rise beyond your old self, the world no longer feels the same. Obstacles look different. Opportunities appear more clearly. Your goals feel more reachable. You stop comparing yourself to others and begin focusing on your own path. You stop doubting your abilities and begin believing in your potential. The old version of you fought to survive. The new version of you is ready to build, create, and evolve. And here's the most powerful part. The new you isn't born from perfection. It's born from progress. It's born from lessons. It's born from resilience. You are not rising because life became easier. You are rising because you became wiser. When the wound becomes your teacher, the lesson becomes your strength. And your strength builds the next, stronger version of you. This is the transformation Bruce Lee believed every human is capable of the moment you stop being shaped by your past and start shaping your future. Every journey comes to a moment of reflection, the point where you realize you are no longer who you used to be. Bruce Lee understood that true transformation is not about temporary victories or fleeting success. It is about the permanent shift inside you, the kind that changes how you live, think, and act every single day. This is the moment when your wound has fully completed its lesson and you step forward as someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The wound you once saw as a burden becomes the proof of your growth. Every setback, every disappointment, every moment of fear or uncertainty was not wasted. Instead, it served as a guide, teaching you patience, discipline, and understanding. Life's challenges are never meaningless. They are the raw materials from which strength and character are built. Bruce Lee believed that those who can accept this, who can truly learn from their pain, are the ones who create a life of mastery. Think about your own journey. How often did the hardest moments also shape the most important lessons? Perhaps it was a failure that taught you resilience, a loss that taught you gratitude, a moment of doubt that taught you clarity. These experiences, painful as they were the foundation of your growth. And when you begin to recognize them as teachers instead of obstacles, everything changes. You no longer see life as unfair. You see it as instructive. You no longer see yourself as limited. You see yourself as evolving. Transformation is a choice, a decision to respond to life with awareness rather than avoidance. Bruce Lee emphasized that the strongest people are not those who avoid struggle, but those who meet it head-on, understand it, and use it to their advantage. Your wound is not a mark of weakness. It is a compass pointing toward your highest potential. And when you follow that compass, you discover abilities, strength, and courage you never knew existed. The most powerful part of this journey is that it doesn't end. Every wound has a lesson, and every lesson creates a new layer of growth. Life continues to challenge, to teach, and to push you. But once you've learned to let the wound become your teacher, you face every new challenge with a mindset that is calm, focused, and resilient. You're no longer a passive participant in life. You are an active creator of your path. This transformation affects every part of you. Your mindset shifts. Your decisions become intentional. Your relationships deepen. Your goals feel achievable because you now approach them with clarity and strength. And most importantly, you begin to live life with a sense of purpose and self-trust that was once impossible to imagine. Bruce Lee's philosophy teaches us that life is less about avoiding difficulty and more about learning from it. Every struggle is an invitation to grow. Every wound is an opportunity to evolve. Every lesson learned becomes a tool you can carry into the next challenge. And when you embrace this, you realize that your journey is not defined by pain. It is defined by the wisdom, resilience, and transformation that arise from it. So remember, the wound is not your enemy. It is your teacher. The lesson is not a punishment. It is your path to growth. And the transformation that follows is your greatest power. When you finally see it this way, you are no longer shaped by life's hardships. You are shaping your life with intention, awareness, and strength. And that is the ultimate lesson Bruce Lee wanted every human to learn. Let the wound become your teacher and watch yourself rise. Thank you for staying with me through this journey. I hope Bruce Lee's wisdom inspires you to turn your challenges into growth. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and join our community. More life-changing insights are coming your way.